Yeah, might as well start for the morning. Oh yeah, okay, start. I knew it. I feel like we might have a lot of people shuffle in while we're talking. Okay. So I wanted to welcome you guys to KCNI. Okay. Welcome to week 4 of BrainHack School. We're gonna start off today actually with a talk from Tristan Latar, who's my boss, so be nice to him. He's the scientific director of KCNI and now the BMO chair in artificial intelligence at U of T, or inaugural BMO chair at CAMN. Yeah. It said CAMN U of T on the website. Okay. And he's been involved in BrainHack School for a while. You hosted the Concordia Hub back when it was happening. But he's here to tell us about where we are and situated. So Tristan's going to do kind of the intro talk, and then I'm going to come back and welcome you to week 4 and remind you of what we're trying to get done in the next few days. So, yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Erin. Yeah, welcome to the Cranville Center for Neuroinformatics. I'm very happy to have you here. I am really fond of BrainHack School and a big fan of it. Before I tell you a little bit more about KCNI and what we do here, I thought I would tell you why BrainHack in general, not just BrainHack School, is very special to me, and probably one of the most impactful, has been one of the most impactful conference or series of events in my professional and some of my personal life. So this is me and my 1-year-old on the way to one of the first BrainHack events in 2015, June 2015 in Hawaii. I didn't know at that time that it was possible to take a 1-year-old baby and carry them to Hawaii, let alone, carrying them on my back to the Napali coast. That was all done under heavy sleep deprivation. So don't try it yourself, but just to let you know that, I've been attending the first BrainHacks. I think that must have been the second or third BrainHack event, from in the past decade. That's another example. That's my daughter Artemis hacking with a magnifier in Stanford, the side of the BIDS BrainHack event in August 2017. Yeah, so BrainHack has been very special to me. As Erin said, I was in Montreal up until last year. I was running a research lab there, and some of my students are still there. We had lots of BrainHack events in Montreal as well, both BrainHack School and BrainHack workshops. That's a poster that I designed back then about the the last pre-COVID event of BrainHack in Montreal. But I've really been, aiming to send my students as much as possible to BrainHack because I think it's a great learning experience. And so some of them, took BrainHack School as a course, and I think it was really beneficial down the road. So I really hope that you're, taking advantage and benefiting of these 4 weeks of BrainHack School. This is me giving an intro over there. On containers at BrainHack School in 2020. So I don't know if this is still part of the curriculum, but I think this idea to couple BrainHack School with the BrainHack ID, to me at least, is very unique and very interesting. So if you want to hear more about containers, how they work, if you think containers are magic, you can talk to me too, and I'd be happy to give you some technical details. And more recently, so this is a picture of I think the latest BrainHack event at SOBP, the Society of Biological Psychiatry, and that was a project led by Erin and Colin from CAMN, where we can see my student Mathieu, whose goal in life is to attend every single BrainHack event in the country. And on the screen, we can see the outcome of that project, which was, enabling the discovery of CAMH data through an upcoming tool, a relatively new tool called NeuroBagel, that allows people to do distributed queries of imaging and other types of data modalities. And I think the point I wanted to make here is that a lot of technological developments that then become major products have started at BrainHack, and a lot of projects, in the neuroinformatics community have started at BrainHack events. Yeah, so more of my, BrainHack outcomes, like, just to let you know what I've learned, what I've got from BrainHack over the years. As I said, it was, I think a very important series of events for me. This is at a BrainHack event that I started programming in Python. Before that, I was a Java, C, C++, and Ruby on Rails programmer. Nobody's perfect. So, that's how I got introduced to the Python ecosystem, and, I got convinced that it was a language worth looking at about 10 years ago. I really believe now that project-based learning works, and that's something that I've, tried to also include in various training initiatives I've been part of, including, university and corporate training. I don't know what you think and what's your experience so far, but I think at some point, maybe after undergrad, or it's very efficient to take this approach to say, look, instead of learning a new programming language, instead of reading a textbook, I'm going to try to do something and learn along the way, the different data types, the different pipelines, the concepts. So for, that's something that I really experienced through BrainHack. And, I think that's a very efficient way to learn. Collaboration too, like we often, at different career stages, we meet people, we talk at conferences. I think BrainHack is a very unique space to sparkle interesting collaborations because we do things together, right? And so I think it's really collaboration to the next level. It's one thing to talk, and have coffee with people, but it's another thing to say, look, let's, take a half a day, a full day to actually work on this thing together. And there's actually, I became part of many papers, software projects, including NiPipe, the NiPipe pipeline engine, a few other ones, because of a collaboration that happened at BrainHack. We talk a lot about open science in neuroinformatics, neuroscience. I hope you've been also lectured about it. But I think BrainHack is also an example of open science in practice. A lot of BrainHack projects, I don't know about your projects, but, are made possible by the availability of open data sets, the availability of open software, common projects. And so I think that's a big feature. But maybe the main one is, meeting people. So this is just a subset of the people I've met around the years at BrainHack. And I think this is actually really important, in particular, as you may start, your academic journey, or, I think meeting people at BrainHack event is very important because these people ultimately become, providers of letters of references, reviewers for your papers, for your grants. They may give you jobs, they may be recommendations, they may, add you on their grant. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities that, at least for me, came out of BrainHack over the years. A little bit more about the content. I think also one of the things that I hope you're getting to from BrainHack School is, and that BrainHack definitely gave me, is a relatively critical eye on data analysis. And so, I think it's one thing to read papers, to, learn things in a university curriculum, maybe in your lab. But I think, this interaction that we get during BrainHack events, at least to me, gave me the opportunity to interact with leading figures in the field and, have their own critical eye saying, oh, yes, you like this paper. It's nice. It's a good result. Let me tell you what I think and what I haven't written about it, or that, because I think a lot of, ideas, intuitions in science also happen through these informal interactions. And so that's why I think this, BrainHack is very important. And so just to, ground that in a paper that you may have heard. So that's the NARPS paper from 2020, which I think is very much in the BrainHack spirit. And some of it also has benefited from BrainHack events. So that's a paper, and maybe Erin presented it to you or others, in the past couple of weeks. That's a paper where people acquired a single fMRI data set, functional MRI data set, that was related to various tasks and said, look, we're going to take this one data set, we're going to give it to 70 teams across the world, experienced in fMRI data analysis, and we're going to ask them to test 9 hypotheses related to various things going on. And let's see what these teams come up. Do they support these hypotheses, or do they think that the data does not support these hypotheses? And so what you can see here is an example of consensus in the activation maps found by the 70 teams for related to these 9 hypotheses. And so the color here ranges from 0, where no activation was ever found in by any team, to 1, where all the teams found great activation. So we can see that there is some form of discrepancy, among the teams, but more importantly, if you look, and I think that's really a key figure that I think, I hope you can keep in mind, y-axis is the fraction of teams that found, that the data set, the same data again, was supporting the hypothesis. X-axis are the 9 hypotheses, and the red dots are where, when the fraction of teams that support, that thought that the hypotheses were supported. So what we can see is that for some hypotheses, it's very clear that, there is consensus that they should be rejected. Other hypotheses, there's consensus that they should be accepted. But for many hypotheses, there is a mixed bag. So there is disagreement across teams about whether, this data supports the hypothesis. And for me, this is important. This is really the BrainHack spirit, where multiple people would work together, would test things, and would have conflicting opinions, right? And then discussing, why did you find something that I didn't find, and how come, and what are the determinants of that, and did I do something wrong? Did you do something wrong? So this kind of conversation, I think, is very important to the scientific process and is enabled by BrainHack. All right, so narrowing down to the, or I don't know if it's narrowing down, but anyway, focusing on the Cranville Center for Neuroinformatics, where you're going to be, I think, today and for the rest of the week. Yeah. So yeah, that's the KCNI. It was created almost 10 years ago, in 2016, and it has faced a steady growth since then. So that's the total number of scientists and staff and trainees at KCNI. So there's 11 independent scientists who work at KCNI in various domains, about 50 research IT staff, so people, database administrators, software developers, in different technical roles, and about, I think, 60 to 70 trainees. Yeah, so these are the 11 scientists. You may recognize some of them. They cover different parts of brain modeling, different types of brain modalities, different scales. Really, like, one of the goals and vision for KCNI is to develop brain models at different scales and across different modalities. So there are scientists working on genomics data, brain circuit modeling, other aspects related to brain modeling. I think if you're interested by any of these, research topics, there may be opportunities to briefly meet them, in the coming days, if you're interested. And so, as I was saying, so the vision for KCNI is to develop brain models that would span different scales, so ranging from low-level molecular DNA to whole brain and even whole person models. And so I think that's really an originality to try and integrate data across these different scales and across different modalities. So artificial intelligence at KCNI, as in many other places, is objectively changing things. And so one of the strategic directions that we are putting forward for the next years is, how to support the creation of AI models for brain modeling. And so we are located at CAMN, which is a mental health hospital, which has a very strong, data strategy. So a lot of data is being acquired at CAMN, either through established cohorts. You may have heard about the Toronto adolescent and youth cohorts, or other cohorts. So there is lots of very high quality data acquired at CAMN. And I think, a strategic opportunity for the KCNI is to apply, train, fine-tune AI models, including foundation models, to help with clinical predictions and ultimately understand disease mechanisms through interpretability of these models. So maybe some of you are interested in AI. I think there are, currently opportunities at CAMN for that. One of the projects that is just starting at the center is called the BrainHack Data Challenge Platform. So if you have heard about Kaggle, the platform for AI challenges, the ambition is to do the same thing, but using CAMN data, which has all sorts of technical and ethical implications. But, really we'd like to open up this data so that people like you, data scientists can take on AI challenges related to mental health and, at the same time learn AI, but also contribute meaningfully to the development of AI models. Not sure how I'm doing with time. I think I may be soon out of time. So open science is a key accelerator. We often talk about code sharing and data sharing when we speak about open science. I think, and this is grounded in literature and some discussions in the community over the past decade, the availability of common challenges is also something that's changing the game. If you think, I don't know if some of you are familiar with ImageNet, that's the image recognition, object recognition challenge that sort of, saw the inception of convolutional neural networks and other AI technologies. The fact that ImageNet was available for some people was more important than methodological developments around it. So just the availability of a common data set, an organized challenge really drove progress in AI. And so that's one of the things that we are, ultimately aiming to do at KCNI. As I said, there is also, you may meet them also across the days, but in the coming days, but there is a very important neuroinformatics operations team at KCNI. So people supporting databases, supporting the creation of tools, supporting the use of wearable devices across CAMH, in various roles. And so one of the technologies that we develop is called the BrainHack Data Bank. The BrainHack Data Bank is a database which is used for data deposition at CAMH. So, if you're conducting a research study at CAMH, by CAMH policy, which is grounded in, other research policies in the country, you have to deposit your data in the BrainHack Data Bank, which is operated by the KCNI. And we also leverage this database for open science, so, to enable secondary use of this data. So currently in this, so there are two parts in this BrainHack Data Bank, a clinical part and a research part. In the clinical part, we have data about more than 50,000 patients, CAMH patients, more than 12 million data points, which I think creates a great opportunity for analysis. And then in the research part of the BHDB, the BrainHack Data Bank, we started accepting depositions about a year ago. At the moment, a few weeks ago, we had 23 data sets actually deposited in the data bank, representing a bit more than 3,000 research participants. And if there's more coming, we have the BrainHack Data Bank manager, Nicole Schroer, you may meet her in the following days, is constantly in liaison with the different research studies at CAMH to essentially facilitate the deposition of this data in the data bank. So that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you today. I hope you enjoy your time at KCNI. It's great to have you here. And I hope that you take the opportunity to interact with each other, but also, with KCNI staff and scientists more largely during the following days. So thanks and welcome.
Any questions? Comments?
For the challenge, the data challenge, is that just within KCNI or would that go public?
No, the goal is to be as public as possible. I think we wrote somewhere that we wanted to have 5,000 or 10,000 participants in these challenges across the project. So we really want to go as large as possible, have a wide outreach. We are exploring partnerships with Kaggle, with other, companies and entities that organize challenges. So we want to have a wide outreach.
Is there a link that we can share?
The website is being built at the moment. So the grant was just accepted. We are in the administrative period, and the official launch is in September 1st. But there will be an announcement, I believe, in later in June at CAMN about this conference.
Oh, and FYI, I think two postdoc postings.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So so related to this grant on data challenges, we have 2 open positions for data engineers that will come up very soon. So if you're interested to help with, data organization, pre-processing, some analysis, then stay tuned. And also 2 postdoc positions, which should be open in the coming weeks, in case you're interested to contribute to the organization of these challenges. I think more generally, I don't know if we have I have not prepared that, but we have a few openings currently at KCNI. So yeah, if people are interested, then feel free to reach out.
Or if you know someone in your lab who's like about to finish or looking to switch, that there's lots of opportunities. Good. The word's down. Even if you're not finishing yourselves, like some of you are starting, some of you are like closer to finish.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,